Ladies and gentlemen, a very warm welcome to you. You're watching Encounter. In the studios of the NBC for Encounter today, we have Dr. Rohit Bartake, who was here last week to speak about Ayurveda. He's a specialist, he's a doctor in Ayurveda. But when the recording ended, we started talking and we decided to have another recording because in this episode, we will speak about the multi-dimensional approach to total health. Dr. Rohit, well, thank you for still being here in the studios of the NBC.
Yeah, once again, thank you for allowing me to share this knowledge with everyone because this is a need of time. This is the future of the whole world because we need to have a strong immune system. And as you mentioned, multi-modality approach to health. So what does that mean? It means we use all the possible ways and means and try to maintain that balance which we had talked in the earlier episode.
Yes.
Maintaining the balance of our doshas, and that's what helps us to have a healthy life, disease-free life. To start with, as I mentioned earlier, it's good for every individual to know their body type. So once we know our body type, we can have our food and lifestyle accordingly. We should also know what seasonal variations we should be doing, and as I talked about, cosmic routine, that regular experiencing the self, which allows the stresses and strains to spontaneously go out of the system. So it has to be done every day because we are gaining some stresses and strains every day. So these things are a part of that routine.
So the cosmic one is through meditation.
Through meditation.
Yeah.
The second approach is by also allowing the physician to checking your pulse. Checking your pulse, the physician finds out that there are certain imbalances which are need to be repaired. Then it's always good to understand the imbalances and get the balance maintained. Again, by taking some herbal preparations. So Ayurveda has vast number of herbal preparations, different combinations and permutations to balance different conditions of the different diseases, we can say.
Dr. Rohit, allow me to say that. Many people say that Ayurvedic preparations is just a business, a commercial aspect of it. So
yeah,
please enlighten us on this segment.
Yeah, what you're saying about Ayurveda is used to be a belief or used to be a misunderstanding of many people in the past. But today we are talking about it in 2021, where you will be very, very surprised to know that most of the European countries, even the European Union, has accepted Ayurveda based on a scientific research. Even in United States, there are more than 5,000 Ayurveda practitioners who are prescribing Ayurveda as a first line of treatment for many conditions, because there are many autoimmune conditions. There are many conditions which are not even known why they come from. And Ayurveda plays a very important role. And today I can say firmly, we have enough scientific data to talk about Ayurveda and the benefits of Ayurveda for the humanity.
This is one of the reasons why Ayurveda has become so popular in the West nowadays.
Because we live in a scientific age. And once you prove things with science, then
it becomes more accepted also.
It becomes more acceptable. There is a research on anti-aging, and it has been seen that if you are following this multimodality approach, you are doing your meditation and yoga practices every day, then your biological age can be reversed. In 5 years, it can be reversed up to 12 years. This has been documented.
Okay.
This is because of the relaxation your body receives.
So talking about the multi-modality approach, you mentioned about the pulse reading.
Yeah. The pulse reading is a very, very refined way of understanding the vibrations of the particular, we can say, consciousness of that particular person.
You mentioned about frequency vibration of the body.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
This is a good question. For many years, scientists believed that the particle theory, that the electromagnetic forces, these are the things that guide the nature. Electromagnetic, gravitational force, then the atomic, subatomic, nuclear, these forces guide the universe. This is what was known by scientists. But now the scientists have come up with an understanding, which is also called as, in quantum physics, they call it as string theory, which means there are many strings vibrating with different frequencies. And then different frequencies give a different form and shape to a particular individual. So whatever we see in the creation is now believed to be a what we can say frequency, but different frequency.
That's why they
Everything-
say everyone is different.
Everyone
also.
is different and based on the frequency in which they are vibrating. So human being is also a combination of those frequencies. And the more we get in tune with the universal frequency or that frequency of the cosmos, the more healthy, the more happy, and the more disease free we can live our life.
So through the pulse reading, you're able to define the frequency
Yeah.
of a person.
The balance.
Is that a number? Is that a
It's
formula?
No, it's just by the sense of touch, and then understanding the different patterns of vibrations which the physician is trained in. It allows the physician to know, understand what is imbalanced at the superficial level, deep level, and the deepest level. So there are different, what we can say, levels of understanding the functioning of the physiology. It's at very superficial physical gross level, and then at the level of sub doshas and sub dhatus, which is more specific understanding.
Is that what they speak about, the energy level?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it is like doing a ultrasonography. When a physician does an ultrasonography or a MRI scan, then the physician can see
in details.
in detail what is wrong. The same way, an Ayurvedic doctor is trained to feel the pulse and understand the vibrations at different levels and to know the imbalance set in the physiology at different levels.
What are the other approaches,
Yeah.
the multi-dimensional approach?
A very important approach in this particular multi-modality approach is aromatherapy. Aromatherapy, as we all know, we are only familiar with aromatherapy with the candles or the
Perfume.
soaps or the perfumes which
Yeah.
we use. But actually it is a very deep science. And when I'm talking today, there is a lot of scientific evidence, even with COVID-19. They have found out that just inhaling few essential oils helps to strengthen your immune system. And they have seen that you can keep the virus away by just regularly inhaling certain essential oils. Now, what has been seen that scientifically when they analyzed aromatherapy, there are approximately 18,000 herbs, which is equal to 3.5% of herbs which are aromatic herbs.
Yeah.
Okay? And the yield of this is different from the essential oils are extracted from these herbs, but the yield varies. Like you may need 200 kilogram of lavender to have 1 kg of lavender essential oil. So it differs from oil to oil, and it has to be very organic, and it has to be extracted in a very, what we can say, with a distillation in a cold distillation form.
So there's a process to that.
There is a
also.
very specific process which keeps the, what we can say, the value of that essential oil intact if it is extracted in a very particular way.
But has Ayurveda covered all these essential
Yeah.
oils and herbs?
Ayurveda has covered, Ayurveda believes that every herb that you see, every plant that you see is a herb. Only thing is, we should be aware of for what we should be using it,
So what are its main functionality, or how it can be used?
how it can be used. Coming back to aromatherapy, you know, if you go deep into the understanding the anatomy of the nose is the area of the brain is only exposed to the whole outer world through nose.
Yes.
In Ayurveda, the sutra says, Nasa hi shirso dwaram. There are billions of neurons which are directly exposed to the whole creation only through the nose. And then when you inhale the essential oils, you are directly communicating with the brain.
100%.
And that's the limbic system. So you inhale an essential oil, it hits the limbic system, and immediately you feel the effect, and the effect is on the whole body. In Switzerland, 80% of pediatricians use essential oils as a first line of treatment for pediatric patients, even internally, because they are extracted very systematically. So you can have few drops in honey, and we have courses where we teach mothers to have these home remedies with essential oils.
Okay.
So it's getting very much popular in the West. So I think, and the main reason is the effect is immediate because of the passage through the nose.
But you spoke that it has a direct impact on the mind, but I would like to speak little bit more about the mind. So it helps a lot with the mental health also?
Mental health also, because stress, tension, anxiety, what has been seen is the moment you inhale a essential oil, you have a feeling of upliftment, you have a feeling of well-being.
It changes your focus
It
also.
changes the way the brain is actually functioning. And then these all negative aspects of the mind,
It
like
just leaves the
stress,
body.
they just get eliminated
Yeah.
at the superficial level, at the level of mind.
Yeah.
And then they don't even impact the body. So what we suggest in this multimodality approach, like if Roshan comes to me, I have told him his body type, I have checked his pulse, I have understood the imbalances, given a guidance regarding the lifestyle. Now what I would do, I would choose an essential oil and hand over to Roshan and tell him, start inhaling it many times during the day. Whenever you feel low, whenever you feel little disturbed, just open the bottle, take some drops on a tissue and inhale. So there is one oil corresponding to every individual.
Okay.
You should choose your oil and start using it to balance your system. This is very easy and quick way to get yourself balanced.
Does the doctor choose it or does the person choose it?
The doctor, depending on the trends of your body type, depending upon the trends or the inclination of your complaints, the doctor has a group of oils for you, and then based on your preference, you can also choose which suits you the most.
Okay, okay. So at the source, it will do the job that it has to do.
Yeah, and it starts repairing at the level of mind. So now you're using your food, your medicines, your lifestyle to balance your physical body, and then now you're activating your brain to start quickly helping to maintain the balance.
So Ayurveda takes a lot of different aspects of a person's life into consideration.
Very, very subtle. It works at a very subtle level. There is another approach in Ayurveda, in this multimodality approach, we call it as Vedic vibrations.
Vedic vibrations.
So there is everything that we go through, it has to have a cause and then the effect.
They sound like the Matrix, cause and effect.
The cause and the effect. So now, what we treat when we see the imbalance is the effect.
Yes.
And the cause is consciousness. Consciousness is all that is. So the moment we start getting this consciousness in tune with the universal consciousness, we start the wave. Once the wave starts realizing that I am the ocean, it starts getting one with ocean every day, or it starts getting in tune with the vibration of that universal consciousness, it helps to repair a lot of imbalances in the physiology.
How is it different from the frequency vibration you mentioned during the pulse reading?
The pulse reading is just to understand the imbalances for the physician. But once you start exposing yourself to the Vedic vibrations, just sitting eyes closed and listening to those vibrations, they start getting the imbalances into a balanced state. They reorganize the imbalance in the physiology. This has been documented scientifically. Listening to specific Vedic sounds has specific changes in the human physiology.
So listening to sounds increases your vibration, your
no,
Vedic vibration.
It doesn't increase the vibrations. It actually, the disease or the problems which you suffer in life, mental or physical, are because essentially everyone is a vibration. We already saw.
Yes.
When these vibrations are not in proper tune with the vibrations of the universe, then we suffer from a disease.
Yeah, that
so
makes
when
sense.
you listen to the particular Vedic vibrations, they help you to reorganize the vibrations and get them in the tune with the nature.
What is a Vedic vibration? What is listening to a Vedic vibration? Is there a particular sound?
There are many. Now there has been a physiology model that has been developed, and what has been seen in a scientific research by a leading scientist, the foremost scientist in the field of consciousness. His name is Dr. Tony Nader, and he under the guidance of His Holiness Maharshi Mahesh Yogi, performed lot of experiments, and he has published a book which is called as Veda in Human Physiology. And this book now says that whatever vibrations or the suktas in the Vedas, the number equally corresponds to the number of nerves in the human nervous system. So now, once you listen to a particular sound from a particular chapter of this Vedic vibration, that corresponds to a particular organ in your body or in your brain.
Yep.
So you can enliven that aspect in your brain. So if a person, for example, a person is suffering from cancer, he has an abdominal tumor. If he starts regularly listening to the vibrations that correspond to that level of physiology or the nerves which are there in the abdominal level regularly, it starts showing repair at the level of the physical level, at the level of that cancer tumor. This has been researched now.
Because cancer has become a major problem nowadays, not only in Mauritius, but
Globally.
everywhere, globally.
Globally.
So many people dying from cancer nowadays. And you're mentioning that the Vedic frequency can help repair the damage that has been done.
And also prevention. So see, everyone is not got cancer yet, but by keeping ourselves regularly in tune with the vibrations always keeps us healthy.
But we all have cancer cells in our body, right?
Everyone has cancer cells in the body. After the age of 60, the immune system drops down and these cells become more active. But if we have lived a good life, if we have lived a balanced good life, it's not in terms of your behavior only. It's also in terms of what you eat, how you have followed your daily routine, how you have maintained your body type, or how you have balanced your body with eating right
and the
things.
kind of thoughts you've had also.
Yeah, and also depending upon what kind of hereditary illnesses exist in the family.
Of course.
In spite of all that, these Vedic vibrations, if you're getting in tune with the nature, will help you to postpone all these ailments very, very easily.
Because you're living in an organic way.
Yeah, and if you are living in an organic way, and essentially we are vibrations, but we should be vibrating in a good frequency, in a frequency that is appropriate for a human being to perform. And when this gets disturbed, then the cancer starts. We don't allow it to happen. And unfortunately, if due to pesticides or if due to anything, any reason, sometimes due to suppressed emotions.
Yeah.
Suppressed emotions is a major cause of cancer in future.
Yeah.
And if this has unfortunately happened with the individual, still by getting him more and more in tune with those vibrations, it helps the person to recover fast from that illness. So we can have a good recovery plan for when he is going through his approach. This is called as integrated approach to health.
Wow.
So multimodality approach and integrated approach together can help us to have a healthy individual, and then that is what we call as a disease-free society, and we can have heaven on earth, a reality, a living reality.
That's probably the dream of Maharishi, right? Yeah. So let's recap for the viewers of Encounter. The first thing you mentioned is the pulse reading.
Yeah.
Right. The second one was the Vedic. No, that was the third one, Vedic frequency. The second one was
to understand. If you have some imbalances, you are using some herbs.
Yes, exactly. What would be the fourth one?
The Vedic vibrations.
That's the fourth one.
And the most important is meditation. Of course, it is a part of that multimodality approach. But yoga asanas, the Maharshi yoga asanas have been designed in such a way
so
that
physical
aspect of
physical aspect to do asanas, yeah.
Because aging is something that we can understand from the musculoskeletal system. The more you feel stiff, the more old you are. You can have a 70-year-old man who is very flexible. He is young, actually.
He's 70 years young.
He's 70 years young.
Yeah.
But you can have a 40-year-old person working in IT sector with different shifts, with a very stiff body. He can't even bend down to touch the feet, touch the fingers.
Yeah.
So he is older than that person who is 70 years old. So what is understood now is the flexibility of the body decides how young we are, and the yoga helps you to keep more flexible body and your flexible mind. So you don't become more adamant.
Yeah.
Yoga makes your mind also flexible.
What I learned from yoga, or from all the courses that I've been through and the practice, is yoga is beyond the physical activity of it, because yes, it makes you more flexible, but after a session or during a session of yoga, I learn more about my body, I accept more about my body, I'm more proactive about it, but most importantly is how I feel after a session.
Exactly. And yoga means union. union of the
exactly.
individual self with the
Exactly.
universal self. So every time you perform a asana, you are experiencing the transcendence. This is actually real yoga. Many people do yoga as an exercise. That is not yoga.
This is a byproduct of
This
yoga.
is a byproduct. But the real thing is to experience transcendence during the asanas.
Somehow I feel there's a specific chemical that gets produced in my body and I feel amazing.
Of course, Maharshi says that there are many toxins which form in our body over a period of time from the way we live. If we are living in a modern world,
It gets released during yoga
no, it gets digested during yoga.
so that you can.
It can be eliminated.
Okay, exactly. Okay, that's
so
what I meant.
The things which are not well digested, they remain as toxins or free radicals in our body, and they cause a lot of diseases. So yoga helps to digest these free radicals and again help you with your reversal of your aging.
All right, going on to the next step. I have a feeling that the next one you will tell me is pranayama, which is breathing.
Yeah. So yoga is what we can say, yoga is a preparation for experiencing the ultimate, that is the samadhi,
Yeah.
or pure consciousness. So Ashtanga yoga. So you start yoga, you get your body in tune with the nature, with physical activities, and then you come to the breath. And when you're doing the pranayama, it is also experiencing the self through the means of your breathing. The activity of the mind settles down when you're doing the pranayama, your heartbeat settles down, the respiratory rate settles down, and now you are ready to get into the experience of meditation. So this is a sequence. You start with yoga asanas, then you settle down your body, the metabolism settles down with pranayama, and then when you get into meditation, the meditation becomes a blissful experience. And Roshan, this should be a part of our daily routine in the morning and evening.
Yeah, some Surya Namaskars will go a long way.
Yeah.
But one more thing that I've noticed is when you practice, when you've done with your practice of your asanas and you do your breathing, if there is still something that is not right in your body, through your breathing, if you're sensitive enough, you will know exactly what's happening, where it's coming from, and hopefully if you're experienced enough or you have a good teacher, they will tell you what are the asanas to practice going forward.
Yes, and when you do your meditation, which is called as supreme yoga.
Yeah.
For example, you are sitting in the transcendental meditation for 20 minutes twice a day. Spontaneously, there is a realignment of that frequency, and when the frequency is now in tune with the universal frequency, then the disease is already eliminated. So sometimes, unknowingly, only during transcendental meditation, you experience the balance. You don't have to intellectually work on it. It is very spontaneously happening in the physiology.
So you can say that I'm practicing transcendental meditation without knowing it at some point.
Transcendental meditation actually is also called as bhavatit dhyan, and it actually, in this meditation, it's the nature which conducts it. We just
It's a part of it.
It's a part of it.
Of course, of course, of course.
But we don't do anything from our side.
Okay.
Actually, the nature is taking care of everything.
Well, I will invite the viewers of Encounter to try to find the episode of Transcendental Meditation, which is on YouTube, and you will understand more about TM. Do you have more layers to the multidimensional approach to total health? Is there more to it?
There is a particular procedure which I actually forgot to mention. It's called as Sukshma Marma. The human body is a collection of marma points. Marmas are the energy centers in our body. And Maharshi says, marma are the point where the physical body and the consciousness, they meet. If there is a blockage of prana in these marma points.
These are chakras.
Not chakras.
No?
There are 107 marma points in our body according to Ayurveda.
Okay.
These are the energy centers where the consciousness and the matter meets. If there is a blockage, then we get a problem. For example, someone comes to me with a shoulder pain. There are marma points in the shoulder area, and just this marma therapy deals with, just putting the attention. It's called the art of gentle touch. It again comes from Ayurveda. Just by a gentle touch, the prana there gets activated, and that the problem is solved. And I'm sure there is some divine connection that you are taking these things out at the right time during this pandemic, when the people actually need this knowledge the most.
No, I'm glad that Encounter is a platform for all kinds of therapies or researchers that have been coming on, especially as I mentioned at the beginning of the previous episode, especially dealing with mental health. I think this
And
is very
I
important.
congratulate you for doing this on a regular basis, and I'm sure ki all your fans and all your viewers will enjoy all what you do with
Not fans,
Encounter. All the
not fans, but the aim of this of Encounter, if it connects with one person, or if it helps to change the life of one person, my job is done.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure it will reach masses.
Thank you very much,
Yeah.
Dr. Rohit.
Thank you too.
We have now come to the end of this episode of Encounter. If you have any questions, feel free to drop an email. It's encounter@mbc.net.mu. If you have any suggestions for our next guest, please drop an email also. Until the very next program, goodbye.